All right, picking up where we left off, we're going to utilize a tool called Hashcat. Now, Hashcat is built into your Kali Linux machine, though we're going to talk pros and cons of that here in just a second. Hashcat is a tool utilized to crack hashes. And we're going to run it first on our Linux machine in our VM, and then we're going to try running it elsewhere and just take a look at speed differences. So what I want you to do is actually capture this whole hash here. We're going to copy it, and we'll just do something like gedit ntlm hash.text. It's fine. And we'll paste that bad boy into here and just hit save. Now we're going to need to set up our Hashcat. So our Hashcat is going to look something like this. So it's going to say Hashcat, and then we're going to have to do a module of 5600. Just type this in with me. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it means in just a second. Then we need our file that we're going to attempt to crack, which is going to be ntlm hash.text, and then we're going to need a word list. So we don't have the word list yet. I'm going to show you where you can find that. So first things first, what the heck is this M5600? So if we go to a new tab and we just say hashcat -- help. Well, it tells us a bunch of different ways that we can attack hashes here. And there's all different kinds of settings when it comes to Hashcat. But what we're after is a module, right? And look at all these different hashes we can crack. Now, some of these might sound familiar, like MD5, SHA-1, etc. But, this is a long list of modules, and here are all the different numbers that we have to go through. And we have to look through these to find what we're after. So here's net NTLM v2, which is 5600. Now, we could do a little bit of Linux foo here and just, narrow this down. So we can say, let's tab up, hashcat -- help. And then what if we just say grep and we know the hash is NTLM like that? Guess what? We just pull down 4 NTLMs and we can just pull the 5600 right out of here in case you ever forget. I have it memorized because I do it so often. You probably will as well. Also, you could put this into your notebook, and this will be a good place to have it and just say, hey, how do I crack NTLM v2 hashes? Here you go. Or have a Hashcat cheat sheet. There you go as well. Make your notes your own, but of course, as I've said this whole course, please have notes. So we've got our module, we've got our hash. Now we need to crack that hash. So we need a word list to do it. Let's go up to files. I'm going to show you a little area in our computer here. So go ahead and go to other locations, and we're going to do a computer, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to user, and then share right here, and start typing in word list, and that will bring you right to word list here. Now, there is this rocku.txt.gzip. Go ahead and open that. And once you open that, just go ahead and say extract. And we could put this into word list, that's fine. Or we could put this, let's put this in our home folder. That'll work because we might use it again. So let's go ahead and just extract this. And it might take a second here. Now, we're not going to open this up, but Rocku is 140 megabytes, and I can't tell you how many passwords are in here. Millions. There's millions and millions of passwords in the rocku.txt file. This is just the default word list that comes with this. There are lots of word lists out there that you can choose from. For example, we could go out to Firefox, just go to Google, and there are several different sites. We could say google.com, and we could say hashcat word lists. And we can look for them. And there's different ones. Passphrase word lists here. There's another one called seclist. So we say password seclist like that. And there's this great GitHub here for seclists. And you can come through here, and they have all different kinds. So we can go through them, usernames, discovery, passwords right here. And they've got the top 100, top 10,000, all the way through 10 million passwords, right? So the word list that I use is like 70 trillion or something insane. and it takes about 15 minutes to go through. So that's how fast a processor can work. But you just kind of have to find your own, look through them out there, and it's probable that your company will have their own word list as well. But when you're doing stuff like Hack the Box or you're just doing Capture the Flags, usually something like RockYou is plenty sufficient. You don't need to go above and beyond that. Once you start getting into cracking user passwords, then you should start looking for a better word list. But for now, we're going to go ahead and just say rockyou.txt since we put it into our home folder. And now we have to also add in this -- force. Now for me, this is probably not going to work. It's been a little bit since I've actually checked this. I have a pretty new processor. I'm running either a late i7 to an i9. And what this is doing here is it's going to try to run it, but even still, we're in a VM. And the -- force is saying, hey, I know I'm in a VM. This is not going to run off my graphics card. This is actually going to run off my CPU. It's going to be a lot slower. And we're going to try to force this to run off the CPU. I'm going to hit enter. You may work. Mine will not work. Okay. This is what mine looks like. So because I'm in a VM, it's still not going to work for me. You might get a little bit better luck and it might work for you. So here is the alternative. You should always run your password cracking, regardless of what tool it is, but let's say Hashcat. You should always run it on whatever system you're running your base operating system. For example, I'm running on Windows. So guess what we can do? We can go out to Google, we could say Hashcat download, and we'll be brought right to hashcat.net here. Come to here, and right here is the Hashcat binaries. So we can just download the binaries right here. And I'll just go ahead and open this. This is a 7-zip file. And this is Hashcat 5.1. I'll bring this over. You can see we just extract this, and then we have our 64exe right here, and we can run the same kind of deal. So go ahead and extract this, and I'm going to show you how to run this. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have your word list. So if you need to, go ahead and go into your files. You should be able to copy and move over. So copy your rockyou.txt onto your desktop or wherever you're going to be putting this. I put this right into a folder on my desktop, and I'll show you my actual cracking one. So mine looks like this, where I've got it 4.2.1. I'm a little outdated, but I just have my Hashcat in here, and then I put my different hashes in here that I try to crack, and I have RockYou sitting right here as well. So you could put it right in the same folder. It'll make it easier. And then we'll go ahead and just attempt to crack these passwords, right? So I'm going to make a new text file here, and I'm just going to call it hashes.txt or hashes4.txt is what this one will be. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this hashes over here, put it in a file, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So should be exactly the same. So I have a text file, hashes4.txt, and let's go ahead and see. I might have to minimize this for us. Okay, hashes.txt looks just like this. I'll go ahead and save this, or hashes4.txt. And then I'm going to need to bring up a command prompt for you. Run it as administrator. And I'll bring this over. And I'm just going to go right into the folder I have it stored. So C, users, Heath, desktop, Hashcat. And from here, the syntax is really the same. The only thing I'm going to change is just a little bit of the file format for the executable. So it's just hashcat64.exe. The M of 5600 is still the same. And then we're going to say hashes4.txt and then rockyou.txt. And then I'm just going to do a -O. This stands for optimize. So I just want to optimize the output here, and it's going to make this go a little bit faster. But just best practice to use -O here. Okay, and let's go ahead and just hit enter on this. And this will take just a second to spin up, and then you're going to notice as soon as it spins up, see, I can't even finish my sentence, that's how fast it is. As soon as it spins up, it finds the password hash and it cracks it. So you can see password 1 here, and this is exactly what we set the password to. So again, this is a weak password, very easy to figure out. And when you run into organizations like this, you're going to see this all over the place. And I still estimate like 70% of the clients that I'm I'm going up against are using LLMNR, MBTNS, and they're using weak passwords. So these are just really easy wins when it comes to, movement in the network and getting that initial foothold. This is why LLMNR poisoning is such a big one, such a common, popular one to be used. So again, this comes down to password policy and having a good password policy. We're going to crack these small passwords. We're going to crack passwords that have common characters. And we'll talk about this in defenses, but we really just want to let the client know, like, this is a good indicator to let them know, like, we capture these hashes and we cracked them, or capture these hashes and we didn't. And that's a good indicator of their policy. And other things to check too, if your Rockio or whatever word list that you're using doesn't work, then you could still go and use other things like their name. For example, the company name with a 1 or 1 exclamation or 1, 2, 3. You just got to get creative with it and think outside the box. And things again like fall 2019 or whatever year it is, winter, whatever season it is as well, putting those in there and just trying to use the easy way out. You got to think like a user who's wanting to use the easy way out, and you're going to be very successful with this. So that is it for this lesson. From here, we're going to go on and talk about the mitigation strategies, and then we'll move on into some more attacks. So I'll catch you over in the next video.